I have failed as a father. I cheated. I ended up sleeping with 3 different women.
Your wife's got a lot to put up with, doesn't she?
I pay for everything. I can do what I want.
Chris Rock is making headlines. He's saying flat out, I was a piece of
Does this kind of attention that make you nervous or scare you?
I don't expect people to like me.
If you bother him too much, he will pop you in the face.
I would kill to be famous in jail than to be anonymous in real life.
Were you shocked by the things he said?
No, because he's rock.
I was hurt because I didn't know what else I was going to do.
And the next thing I know, I'm in a police lineup.
People were mean and they called you and spit on you. And I was in court. That is scary, man. To not know if you're going to be able to see your kids. You got money, you got fame, but you're sitting here by yourself.
How did Chris Rock become his own worst nightmare?
I got divorced and lost all my money. I would hire my ex's divorce lawyer in a minute. I gotta give her 30% of that sip I just took.
You grew up pretty rough, eh?
When I lived in Bed-Stuy, that's how poor it was. We had an abandoned McDonald's. I lived in a black neighborhood. I went to a white school.
How did they treat you?
It was just a horrible existence. Every day was hell. People were mean and they called you and spit on you and threw BCs and piss. It's very traumatizing. Imagine just being a kid and from 2nd grade to 11th grade, no one invited you over. I was never a good athlete. I wasn't like a cute kid, like girls didn't like me or whatever, but I could be funny. It was kind of the only thing I was ever good at.
As Chris Rock used his comedy to fight off racist attacks, one person was always in his corner.
My father was a really dependable guy.
I always had food, 2 parents, and love. And he was my safety blanket. He was just poor and working since he was like 12, and his body just gave out.
His dad's death only made Chris more driven to succeed.
I think about it probably every day. My father never really saw what I became. I'm not really resting. And part of that is just trying to recreate the security I had as a child. Would I feel the need to have the drive I do if he was alive?
His hard work seemed to pay off when he landed a spot on Saturday Night Live.
When I got to SNL, they hadn't had a black guy in 8 years. So they literally hadn't had a black guy since Eddie Murphy. I thought I was hot shit.
Chris thought he'd finally left his outsider days behind when co-star Adam Sandler welcomed him with open arms.
They kind of saved my life to go to this all-white environment that SNL was and get treated so well.
Me and Rock know each other forever, and we used to do the comic strip together.
It was the best 3 years of my life. Those are my best friends in the world. They're my frat brothers for the rest of my life. Those are my boys.
But despite Adam's friendship, Chris was put in yet another racist box.
I got fired because I was leaving. I had these instances where they wanted me to do certain things at SNL. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. All they're gonna want you to do are things involving race or impressions of famous black people. It was weird sitting in my house watching SNL while my friends were on TV.
On his own again, Chris barreled ahead into adult life.
I bought a house I couldn't afford, and the pressure to pay for that house made me work so hard.
How's married life treating you?
Married life was pretty cool. It's just, you ever have a job you were just totally unqualified for?
I find myself a lot like my father in some ways. My father was saving me from going to jail. My daughters aren't going to jail.
I'm never gonna be secure again, but my kids can.
No matter what he achieved, Chris was still stereotyped for the color of his skin.
And the next thing I know, I'm in a police lineup. All I need is some woman sitting there with a black eye, and if she points at me, I'm going to jail. I hadn't done anything.
And searching for security, he focused on the wrong things.
You get this celebrity and you don't feel like you deserve it, and you hold on tight to it.
I would kill somebody to be famous in jail than to be anonymous in real life.
I wasn't a good husband. I didn't listen, wasn't kind. I had an attitude. I thought, I pay for everything. I can do what I want. I just thought I was a man. I cheated. I'm not bragging. I cheated. I was like on the road. I ended up sleeping with 3 different women. When guys cheat, it's like we want something new. Then you know what happens? Your woman finds out, and now she's new. So now you got new, but you got a bad new.
Chris couldn't have been further from the example his dad had set for him.
Chris Rock and Malak, their divorce is getting very, very messy.
Had to go through a custody fight with my kids. I was in court. That was scary, man. Like to not know if you're gonna be able to see your kids.
With his family in ruins and his money gone, Chris had become his own worst nightmare, until an old friend came to him with a job offer.
It's another Adam Sandler, Chris Rock. You guys are coming back together from Saturday Night Live days.
Yeah, it was good, you know? It's weird because we hang out all the time, but we never work together.
I've always loved Rock. It's nice to have somebody you can tell everything to.
That's literally my best friend. I love him like a brother.
He's been my counsel forever.
Adam had his own struggles since they went their separate ways.
9 cast members were ousted, including stars like Adam.
I was hurt because I didn't know what else I was going to do.
But he never let his insecurity distract him from what really matters.
My wife, who I love very much, if I wasn't pursuing this career, I wouldn't be out here. I wouldn't have met her. I wouldn't have had these great kids.
Very family-oriented man in general.
Absolutely. I'm addicted to him. I love being with him, and when I'm not with him, I'm very, very depressed.
Working alongside Adam gave Chris the example he needed to finally wake up.
I'm looking at the man in the mirror. You got money, you got fame, but you're sitting here by yourself. I gotta look deep inside and hold myself accountable.
Anybody who follows Chris Rock, he used to always blame his ex for everything. Chris is actually doing a 180 and taking blame for everything going wrong.
My ex-wife's cool. We talk all the time. Our houses are like 5 minutes apart. We're family to the end. Even though you're divorced, you're still family. Ultimately, my relationship with my kids is gonna determine my happiness.
At my funeral, if you're talking about my jokes, I have failed as a father.
And we all know Rock is the best. His stand-up is the best, and he is the most truthful man I've ever seen.
By focusing on what matters, Chris finally found true security.
I don't have this attitude like I'm gonna be a has-been tomorrow. I'm gonna lose everything. I'm not living in fear like I was.
I got my kids, I got my custody. It's beautiful.
Your life is your love, is your relationships. Everything else you do is your job.
Love who you with and appreciate what you got. Don't take life for granted.